Sylvanian Families furniture is really cute but not very realistic. I'll show you how you can transform these pieces with simple techniques you've probably never done. To make this look more like wood and less like plastic, I'm sanding some of these mold lines and plastic burrs. When you see lines like this, it's a dead giveaway that something is molded plastic, so sanding away these lines before you paint can hide the plastic past. Anytime I'm painting plastic pieces, I like to clean them off with rubbing alcohol. This removes any oils from your hands or mold release. I got this dining set and a bunch of other Sylvanian Families furniture from my local Goodwill by the pound. Since these pieces are so lightweight, I only paid 25 cents for the set. Do some Googling to see if you have a Goodwill by the pound outlet near you. This is entirely optional, but before I apply my acrylic paint, I'm adding a coat of Dora Clear Ultra Matte Finish. I'm using a stiff bristle brush to create some lines in the surface to mimic wood texture and hide the super smooth plastic. The Ultra Matte Sealer has a bit of texture, so it'll also help the acrylic paint stick to the smooth plastic. Once these raised ridges dry, they do create a slight surface texture. You could use wood glue or Mod Podge for this as well because they both hold their shape. I covered the chairs as well, making sure my brush strokes went in the same direction wood grain would go in. I'm going for a two-tone look where the top looks like wood and the rest is painted. I mixed 3 different colors of brown acrylic paint to mimic walnut wood. To mimic wood grain, I'm applying a thin layer of paint in a streaky manner, letting some of the underlying plastic show through. This neutral plastic is a good base because it looks like a light tone of wood, but if I was painting over pink or blue or something, I would have added a base coat before attempting this wood grain effect. To make the chairs look more interesting and coordinate them with the table, I painted each of the 4 seats with the wood grain effect as well. The rest of the chair will be painted a fairly light color, so I'm carefully avoiding those areas and wiping away any paint that strays. I'm painting the rest of the plastic with this Waverly chalk paint. The lid has super smooth sides, so it was a pain in the ass to open up, but it's a beautiful green color. I've been seeing this color, celery, all over YouTube, and I completely understand why. This color is really soft like a neutral, but still has some color, unlike beige or white, which can be a little bit boring. Chalk paint will stick to virtually anything, even glass, so it covers the plastic really nicely, although I had to do multiple coats. The tops of the chairs are really detailed, so I need to apply a light coat so I don't glob on the chalk paint, which does have a bit of texture. After painting the tops of the chairs, I'm adding a coat to the base of the table. The table legs are pleasantly plump, so I'm able to apply the paint a bit more heavily. Then I applied a first coat to the legs of the chairs. I painted the pieces in this sequence so I could allow the tops of the chairs to dry so I can apply the paint to the base without touching wet paint. I applied a nice even coat, turning the chairs in multiple directions to avoid missing any spots. The chair on the left only has 1 coat of paint, so you can see the difference the second coat makes. When I painted the base of the table, I should have painted the inside of the aprons as well, so I had to do that after the fact. My tabletop turned out a little too splotchy, so I added some water to a brush to even it out. I don't believe this technique would work very well on the chalk paint, but since this is just acrylic paint, I was able to soften some of the harshness. To prep for the last step and the scariest step, I'm applying some clear wax. Right away, I'm noticing the sealer has some graininess and you can actually see small chunks in it. I've never used clear wax before, so I'm not sure if this is normal, so you'll have to let me know. You could use this clear wax as a final coat, but I'm applying it before the final step so I can help control some white wax I'll be adding. I coated the table and all 4 chairs with the clear wax. After allowing the clear wax to set for 24 hours, the next step is buffing with a lint-free cloth. I don't have a lint-free cloth, so I used a combination of a Chipotle napkin and a stained washcloth. The grainy bits buffed out of the clear wax and I'm left with a nice finish. I'm recording this voiceover before doing the next step, so we're finding out together how the white wax turns out. My white wax was a bit chunky and a little concerning to me, but I gave it a stir with a chopstick and all the grainy bits integrated nicely into the rest of the mixture. I'm applying the white wax to the green painted portion of the table, making sure to get it into all of the deepest details. Before this has much time to set or dry, I'm wiping away the excess, making sure it gets caught in all the grooves and turnings in the legs. This white wax is a finish coat, so I removed any lint or cat fur I got in the finish. Here's the side with the wax applied, and here's the other side that's just painted. I wish you could see it in real life because it really emphasizes the details and gives a very charming, shabby appearance. The white wax is helping create a different dimension to the wood to make it a bit more finished looking than just a plain coat of green paint. I was planning to subdue my faux wood finish with more of the white wax, but I didn't like how it looked. Fortunately, since I had sealed it with the clear wax, I was able to wet a rag and easily remove the white wax. I imagine some other type of sealer that's not water-based would work as well for sealing between waxes. I mostly bought the clear wax so I can create my own different colored waxes by adding acrylic paint to the wax. Check out this video next to see my Sylvanian Families unboxing and watch me repaint a miniature pan.